everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today, I'm going to be taking a look at this not Marvel Legends Captain America Civil War Vision movie figure. Now honestly, I don't even know the name of the company that's putting this figure out. I know there are several different Civil War type figures that have been released. These are being sold overseas. I believe this is basically a bootleg figure since I don't think it's an officially licensed product from Marvel Comics. I don't know that 100%, but I'm pretty sure this is essentially just a bootleg figure. Technically, this figure is listed as 7-inch scale, so it's not really meant to be in scale with your Marvel Legends. That being said, the Vision being a little taller character, I was curious to see how well it would fit in with the other Hasbro figure, since we haven't actually gotten a movie Vision figure as of yet. I'm sure eventually Hasbro will get around to releasing a movie Vision, so I don't know if I'd really recommend buying a bootleg like this. But again, I was just curious and wanted to check it out, and it was pretty cheap on eBay. So first of all, this figure stands at just under 7 inches tall. Now I don't have any packaging to show you. As I said, I bought this off of eBay and it came like this. Well, it was in a poly bag, but there was no packaging. I have seen images online for some of these figures, and it looks like when you buy them overseas, they are sold on some kind of generic card back. But again, I don't have any packaging to actually show you with this one. So here's a comparison with some of Hasbro's Marvel Legends Civil War 6-inch figures, and you can see that Vision actually fits in pretty well with these guys. He's a little bit taller, so maybe the scale's not 100%. He's maybe closer, should be about the same size as Iron Man and War Machine, I think. Here's a comparison with the Age of Ultron figure from Hasbro. And finally, here's a comparison with the Marvel Legends Civil War Scarlet Witch figure. So for the figure itself, I think they've actually done a fairly decent job with this one. Paint applications are a little off in places, especially with the skin tone on the face and the hands. I think they come off looking too purple. I think they could have used to add a little more red to it to be more movie accurate. Otherwise, I think the head sculpt is good. I think they've done a pretty good job of capturing the actor's likeness. I like the sculpting of the back of the head. So I think that looks good. They did not paint the Infinity Gem on his forehead. They just left it unpainted. It looks like they did sculpt it on there, and so it would have been nice if they'd painted that yellow, or maybe even done a separate piece in translucent yellow plastic and glued it on there. But as it is, otherwise I think the head looks pretty good. Now the cape, I like the cape. I like the sculpting on the cape. You've got that circuitry look to it because it is an extension of him basically. And I like how the cape attaches to the back of the figure so it's seamless. Now the cape is removable, and it's made with just that vinyl material, and then you've got some red color on the inner part of the cape down here towards the bottom. I don't know if I like that as much, but I do again like the sculpting on the cape, and I like how it attaches. Now when you don't have the cape on the back of the figure, you do get this gap, so that does look a little funny. But again, when you have the cape on there, I do like how it looks seamless on the figure. For the rest of the figure, I like this sculpting on the costume to give you that kind of rough pattern like you see in the movie, and the paint applications seem to be pretty accurate with the maroon colors mixed in throughout here on his chest and upper body, and the gauntlets on his wrists and the boots, and you've got some metallic gold on his boots as well, which I think look pretty good. Now the boots are done with a more glossy paint than the rest of the figure, but still I think overall it looks pretty good. So articulation is okay on the figure. I will say the joints are very loose. When I first opened it up, especially with the legs, they were very loose. So that's something to be wary of. You can turn the head to the left and to the right. Has a little back and forth, but not really. You can get the arm out about that much, and it's got good rotation. It does have a bicep swivel, has a double hinged elbow, so he's got good bending at the elbow, has swivels at the wrist, but doesn't have hinges on the hands, so no up or down movement with the hands. You have this midsection joint, so he's got some rotation there. It's basically attached with a ball joint, so it does kind of pop off if you rotate it too much, but you got a little rotation and a little back and forth movement. You can kind of pivot it to left and right, but really honestly not a whole lot of movement there at the midsection. Legs are attached with ball joints, and again, this is where the legs are the joints are the most loose, is here at the legs. So he can do the splits about that much. He can get his leg forward about that much, and he can do his leg back about that much. No thigh swivel, double jointed knee, and then has hinges on the feet, so he's got some back and forth movement with the feet, and he's got rotation there and a little bit of pivot. It's basically looks like it's attached on a ball joint there, and then no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I would say if you're looking for a cheap temporary fill-in for your Marvel Legend collection until Hasbro gets around to releasing an official Marvel Legends Vision figure, I think this might work for you. The paint applications aren't 100% accurate to what we see in the movie. The skin tone is definitely a little too purple, and the green, it could use a little more green in the costume. The scale isn't perfect either. It's technically a 7-inch figure, but I think it's close enough you can make it work. My biggest complaint with it is just the joint quality. They're very loose. First thing out of the packaging, they're very loose, and I think if you spent a lot of time posing this figure around, you would find that it would be very difficult to have it stand under its own power anymore. The joints are just that loose. That being said, this figure isn't terribly expensive. You can probably pick it up off of eBay for about $7. With shipping, you can get it for probably about $14. So it's definitely not a terribly expensive figure. Now, if you're asking why can they sell this figure so cheaply and a Marvel Legends cost $20, well, again, this isn't an officially licensed product, therefore the company that made this figure isn't paying the licensing fees and such, and that's how they make it cheaper. Plus the overall quality just isn't as good as a Marvel Legends. So we'll have a full gallery of images up at marvelousnews.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment, let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description below. And until next time, I'll catch you later.